So how was your day? I know you went and saw that psychiatrist. How did that go?
Pretty good. I let him know you guys would be keeping an eye on him and others like him. They deserve to be informed that what they are doing isn't helping anyone and that they need to be forewarned that if they keep misdiagnosing people who are clairaudient there will be an inquiry into each incident. I fear so many people who are clairaudient out there have found themselves before someone like him dispensing injustice and malpractice in the name of good mental health.
We will be keeping tabs on George. We may not be here physically, but that isn't going to stop us from investigating. For too long, psychology has been used to misdiagnose people based on what a few think are the standards for all of humanity to be compared to, and if you don't fit their idea of the standard, then you're considered mentally unfit.
Yeah, I really don't trust that everyone who decides to study and become involved in psychology is in the right mind. They seem to overdiagnose based on repetition in the profession. Even if someone doesn't have the mental illness, they still see something wrong with someone and rubber stamp them. Where would they be if they couldn't create a sublime demand for pharmaceuticals by creating the illusion of illness? It's real easy to get carried away real fast when your whole process for diagnosing is speculative at best.
What is so foolish about the process is that they don't even investigate in the field of psychology anymore. They just assume it's all figured out and they just have to match someone to a disease, which is easy with the broad sweeping list of symptoms in the DSM-5 manual. It's like playing Battleship and getting a hit every time, no matter where one chooses on the board. Especially in the case of clairaudient individuals like yourself, Benjamin. They don't even ask how you hear me and others in the spiritual world. They just assume you're crazy and slap you with a label like schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder.
Yeah, it's not right at all. I know this ability isn't a disability like most assume it is in psychology. Parapsychology seems more ready and willing to understand the reality and does actually investigate, rather than sit there dispensing misdirected mental health. They seem to study and investigate like vanilla psychology used to do back in the day. You really still can't trust the field of psychology completely. There is way too much room for error.
I agree when you deal in speculative and opinion-based diagnoses rather than actually having tests and investigations like the rest of the medical fields. Psychology has nothing to back it up. It's completely based on the doctor's consensus based on what he was taught rather than what he or she needs to learn, and not everything is a disease or disorder. They overlook talent and mistake it for illness.
Clairaudience, there is no cure for this ability because it's not a disease. Do you want me to chop off my ear because I hear what you don't, or gouge out my eye because I see something you don't, doctor? It's really stupid when they think they can cure you, for they are somehow destined to figure out how to turn off someone else's view of reality so that it fits within their scope of understanding. Throw medications at the patient, perhaps they will stop talking about the reality. I don't know.
Yeah, drugging people because they are talking about their life and problems and slapping them with speculative disease isn't exactly what I call good psychology practice. Current psychology practice is in need of a psychological evaluation, especially with the pharmaceutical dispensing madness that seems to be the current standard. They have a drug if you're happy and content with your life, because they have cure or rather a medication for everything, even wellness. The side effects include shitting your pants uncontrollably, you gain weight, your sex drive is screwed up, you might die from misuse, could cause other side effects as well. We don't care enough to know, so we are just warning you about our wonderful cure-all.
Yeah, sometimes what they dispense as a treatment is worse than the so-called disease they speculate you have. It really is insane the amount of drugs that are advertised these days on TV. They have a drug for it all. If you can see straight, they have a cure for that. Are you feeling too wonderful today and have a great outlook on the world? Try our new pill, Fuck It Up by Pfizer, no votes, Bear Johnson Holding.
There's a lot of money in being a snake oil salesman. Not much has changed. They just learned to gussy it up and slap a new label on it to sell to the public. If people are willing to throw money at supposed cures, there have always been those around who look to sell them false hope in a bottle or pill. Any wonder why psychology is so screwed up these days when it's attached to the hip with the pharmaceutical industry?
It's only a matter of time before the whole thing implodes in on its false front of being a legitimate medical field when people figure out what they are up to behind closed doors. Perhaps it's time people get to see what's going on inside the pharmaceutical psychology industry. A real review is due. The policies being practiced currently by psychology and dispensed to the public under the guise of good mental health. Not everything is on the up and up.
Well, we will let you know when there's another psychiatrist that needs a visit and a checkup as well as a warning from us. When there isn't serious oversight in the physical side of life, we need to pick up the slack over here on the spiritual side. I'm just glad to have you on board, Benjamin. Sometimes we need a messenger and you seem quite ready to deliver the message with a bit of poetic justice.
I am not afraid to face those in the field of psychology that are overconfident in their misdiagnosis and arrogant dictators with a prescription pad. It has to be done so that we can actually work toward a better understanding of the reality between the two sides of life. We can't allow for those in the psychology field to run rampant in misdiagnosis, especially when it comes to those who are aware of the two sides of life, as we are the go-betweens or the mediums, if you will. There is no room for mistakes when it comes to the reality being understood.
We on the spiritual side of life wish to thank you for your time. We know we don't have any money to compensate you for your work, but we honestly thank you.
You can't expect spirits to have deep pockets financially, as you need pockets to begin with. I figure I would want someone to do the same for me if I was on the other side of life and needed a favor done. It's no problem at all.
Till next time, Benjamin, I will see you soon, but you won't see me, but you will definitely hear from me.
Frederick, it is a pleasure. Tell everyone hello from me.